Welcome back to New Rockstars. It's me, MT, and did you see the world's first look at Marvel's Marc Spector spectacle on DisneyPlus.com? I did, and good lord, I never thought I'd be happy to see Oscar Isaac violently beat a stranger's meat in a public restroom in the name of religion, because that's exactly what he does in our first look at Moon Knight from Marvel Studios. But just who is this Marc Spector guy anyway, and why has he historically been a moon of many faces in the Marvel comics? Well, let's go ahead and dive into it, my nerd babies. Moon Knight is, of course, former mercenary Marc Spector, and also cab driver Jake Lockley, and also millionaire Steve Grant. No, he's not trying to avoid baby mama drama. Marc Spector just suffers from an illness called dissociative identity disorder, or DID, a disorder that kicked into high gear when his childhood rabbi turned out to be a, racist killer of Jews, a former Nazi, which I'm assuming immediately got him a 1-star review on RateMyRabbi.com. That was not very L'chaim of you, dude. And this disorder would eventually lead to the creations of Spector's Jake Lockley and Stephen Grant personalities. But before he partied with personalities, Mark would take his ass to the Marines and unfortunately become a different type of Moon Knight when his illness caused him to zone out and moon Marines at night. Completely just went buck naked multiple times, and then he ran away before being dishonorably discharged, which is, a bummer because he is sick. And then, after lending his services to the CIA for a little bit, he would eventually end up becoming a gun for hire and meeting up with his future BFF for life, Frenchie Duchamp, during his time doing sketchy shit with bullets for money, because that's basically what being a mercenary is. And eventually, doing sketchy mercenary shit would find Frenchie piloting Mark to the border of North Sudan and Egypt to do some good old-fashioned Angelina Jolie brand tomb raiding at the suggestion of this crazy dude named Raoul Bushman, another mercenary from the fictional African nation of Burundi. And when I say this dude is crazy, I mean like tattoo a white skull on your black face because you want to see the fear in your victim's eyes before you kill them type of crazy, which is, very similar to Walmart crazy, but still somehow not as scary. But needless to say, Mark and Frenchie quickly realized that they made a huge mistake by giving this maniac Bushman more than 5 minutes of their time, but Mark would ultimately regret it the most when Bushman beats his ass and then leaves him to die in the desert, after Mark dared to show outrage for Bushman's murder of innocent civilians, including the archaeologist's father of Marlene Alaron, while the two of them were in Egypt looking for cool sandy old stuff in the tomb of the ancient pharaoh Seti. And Marc Spector, in dire need of a blue Gatorade, would eventually trek his dehydrated ass across the African desert all the way to that very same tomb of Seti and collapse in front of a statue in that tomb called the statue of Khonshu, the Egyptian god of the moon and vengeance. But however, when Mark was about to draw his very last breath, Khonshu himself, the blue Gatorade of moon power, and save his life by transforming Marc Spector into Khonshu's mortal fist of revenge on Earth, the Moon Knight. And then after this, Mark would go on to start a romance with Marlene and go on to fight evil in Khonshu's holy name with Frenchie as his pilot in the chair, guarding the innocents who walk the night in the most brutal of fashions, with Bushman, a character called the Sun King, and Mark's own brother, Randall Spector, as Shadow Knight as his three, main nemesis, amongst others. Okay, get this. You're planning a vacation. This Morris Island looks nice. Ancient temples, beautiful scenery. But wait, those aren't vacationers. Those are deadly warriors. If you like combat games and want to check out a really good one, head to Morris Island with the thrilling combat game Naraka Blade Point. It's on sale for 30% off right now. Naraka Blade Point is an up to 60-player mythical action combat game with martial arts influenced melee combat inspired by the legends of the Far East. It's got gravity-defying moves, giant arsenals of weapons, and customizable heroes with really cool abilities. And Naraka has a variety of game modes including solo, trio, and bloodsport to satisfy team players and lovers of 1v1 fighting. And you can run Naraka on a low-end or basic spec PC. And they just introduced a new hero, Yue Shan the Unyielding, and he's got this really well-designed heavy armor because he's a general, and he has a powerful skill set to bum rush enemies and knock them over. And he's the second hero in the game with the special ability to make himself bigger and stronger like a titan, which, God, I wish I could do that. Just make myself bigger and stronger, but I need to go to the gym! So play Yue Shan and the other awesome warriors of Naraka Blade Point by clicking the link in this video's description to get the game before November 17th for 30% off, which is pretty great. Naraka Blade Point, go stab some dudes, just do it. Man, people love to compare Moon Knight with other, certain knights of nighttime vengeance, and with, good reason, considering that Moon Knight knows several forms of martial arts like karate, savate, and judo, and even throws crescent-shaped darts at enemies, much like certain Batman are prone to do. I've personally have yet to see Batman rip his arch nemesis's face off, because that is literally what Mark ends up doing to Bushman, because that guy, and the face that his tattoo wrote on, to be quite honest. He's a murderer, he's a killer. I hope his face rots in hell. Like, Avatar of the God of Vengeance isn't just something Mark puts on his LinkedIn profile page, alright? Like, Marky Mark leaves the marks. Like, not only does he use his trusty truncheon to beat people up regular baton or nunchuck style, he also uses it to grapple away from the scene of the beating, so nobody would know it was Moon Knight. But hey, actually, that's not true, because you'd honestly be lucky if blunt force trauma was the most of your concerns, because Moon Knight has been known to beat the barely living Moonlight out of his victims with sharp-ass silver cestus knuckles, and even carve moon crescents into the foreheads of his enemies, because he's crazy. He's literally insane. But, you know, back to Marc Spector's mental health, because right after Mark was blessed by Khonshu, he would develop the personality of Jake Lockley, a cab driver who knew all the goings-on of the streets, and Stephen Grant, an incredibly smart and wealthy money investor. A personality that would eventually lead Mark into becoming a multi-millionaire, which is great for Moneybags Mark, because Moonarangs, Clorox, and therapy don't grow on trees. I'm just kidding. Mark doesn't go to therapy. But here's the interesting and frustratingly mysterious thing about the character of Moon Knight. Even after the nearly 50 years since Moon Knight tried to kill a werewolf during his Marvel debut in Werewolf by Night number 32, it is still not 100% clear to what extent Marc Spector sees and hears the Moon God Khonshu and has been affected by Khonshu in general. Because, you know, due to his illness, Mark tends to see and hear things that aren't exactly there, to the point where he completely hallucinated a team up with Cap, Spidey, and Wolverine one time. Like, he literally thought all three of them were there, but he was just pretending to be all three. Like, Khonshu, the god, is definitely real, because he's healed and resurrected Mark way too many times for him not to be real. And even at times, he's given Mark crazily increased strength depending on the phase of the moon, allowing Mark to even bench up to 2 tons at a full moon. But it seems that Marvel has left whether or not Khonshu is the exact root of Mark's advanced mental decline purposely up in the air to add to the mystery and intrigue of their character, which, you know, it works, because he's definitely a lot different than Batman, I'll tell you that. But that is the character of Moon Knight in the Marvel Comics in a nutshell. What do you guys think of Marvel's Moon Knight? Do you guys think that he'll be cosmically powered by the moon like he is in the comics for a little bit? Let us know in the comment section below, my nerd babies. And also, of course, please be sure to hit up newrockstarsmerch.com so you can get cool shirts like this and other nerd-inspired shirts. But more importantly, please follow New Rockstars wherever we are on the internet and on YouTube. And if you do on YouTube, make sure to hit that notification bell so you can get notifications every time we upload a new video. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching New Rockstars. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.